Hello, TikTok and YouTube. Well, welcome to a live question and answer. We haven't done this in a while, so completely excited for this. Yeah, hold on here. We got some buttons to press. Things have changed a little bit here. So, yeah, exciting. Thank you for joining me today. Yeah, really excited to be here and to answer some of your guys' questions. We'll start with the question that's in the Patreon group and TikTok. There's a link in bio where you can post a question for me that I'll definitely 100% answer. And yeah, or you can put them in the chat. Do I have the Jerry doll? No, Jerry's upstairs. He's on a shelf. Two Jerrys are upstairs and one's downstairs. So anyway, yeah, guys, if you guys don't already know, we do have a free course, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. I created the course, and the course is it's absolutely free. You do sign up for our mailing list, which we do email out intentions and stuff like that, and let you know whenever we're having sales or anything. But if you just want the free course, just sign up, get the free course, and unsubscribe. I'm totally okay with that. Just make sure you get the free course. And as well, guys, we are having a contest that when we get to 100,000 subscribers, we're giving away 3 free coaching sessions to 3 different people, 1 session each. All you need to do to enter is to share our videos and tag us, to make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and as well as a comment. What have you manifested using the law of assumption, the law of attraction? Yeah, share some hope with other people. Yeah, definitely. And for everyone on TikTok, we do actually have long videos on our YouTube channels for manifesting. So, and some of them are really, actually, all of them are really good. I'm like, some of them are really good. I know all of mine are really good. No, they're all really, really good. And, it helps you to stay motivated and, in the zone, right? So, because I know every morning I wake up, the first thing I do is I'm like, yeah, you know what? My thoughts create, everyone is being pushed out. This is what I want to create today. This is what's going to happen in my reality, right? So, having those reminders throughout the day is so incredibly important. So we've got a question here. It says, hi, Amanda. I absolutely love your videos, and I want to say thank you for making them. You are very welcome. My question would be about affirming for the things that you want in the face of strong emotions. My question is basically, is what I affirm for still going to manifest when I find myself feeling strong negative emotions? Your explanation of the law of assumption is always clear, and it redirects my anxiety to feeling more confident. Oh, that's my intention. I am the possibility of helping you guys realize and reach your dreams and feeling better and inspired and motivated. I just sometimes find myself doubting that part, since many people talk about the importance of feeling. Thank you so much in advance. So here's the beautiful thing about feeling. You can manifest your feelings. So you can say, I intend to feel good. I intend to feel satisfied. So you can call feelings in and change your feelings. Okay. So thoughts manifest. Okay. Feelings are a manifestation. Okay. They're inside your body. So your words carry, basically feeling with them. If you think of something that you like, you feel good. If you think of something you don't like, you may get upset. So for instance, one day I was going for lunch with my mom, and she had said to me, she was like, there's probably going to be a huge long lineup and we're going to wait forever. And I was so hungry. And the thought of manifesting a long wait list to get into a restaurant would just like, pardon me, it made me so angry. I know, what a silly thing to be angry about, but in the moment it did. So, your feelings are a byproduct of what your thoughts are. So your thoughts are actually creating. Your feelings are a really good way to touch base, to figure out, like where your head's at if you're not quite sure what you're feeling. Now, with that being said, let's answer your actual question. So if you are having strong feelings, okay, about your SP, about a rejection, then your intentions are going to work, but aren't going to work. I mean, so what do I mean by that? Okay, so you have to identify the thoughts that are giving you that feeling of rejection. okay? Because that's what's in play, okay? So let's say, for instance, you say that he never, he never makes time for you, and you feel rejected because he's always hanging out with your friends, okay? Now, let's say you intend, that he calls you. He is going to call you because you don't have a block with that. You don't have a block or resistance there. Your resistance is he never comes to see you. So as long as you're holding the resentment or the rejection, for him not coming to see you, it's not gonna manifest. You have to break down that story that's causing that emotion. Okay, and so for instance, one day, here's a good story. One day I went to a doctor's appointment, and I got diagnosed with something, and I was totally upset, completely upset. So when I got home, I was like basically in tears, and I realized that I had forgotten my pills in the car, and the driveway was like really steep, and I'm like, I don't want to walk up the driveway. I just don't want to do it. That's what I was thinking to myself, but I'm crying my eyes out, and Andrew just happened to be getting ready for work, and he said, I said, well, I forgot my medication in the car, and I'm just getting my shoes on. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm like, I don't want to get it. I intend Andrew get it. And all of a sudden, Andrew says from the bedroom, he's like, well, don't worry. I got to go bring some stuff up to my car. I'll bring your pills down. And I was like, oh my God. So there's an example of where I was completely upset, crying in tears, mad at life, but I still manifested Andrew bringing my pills. Well, why was I able to manifest that? Because I wasn't upset and crying at Andrew not bringing my pills. Do you get what I'm saying? If I had basically come home and been like, upset from the doctor, and then, started like saying, okay, nobody's going to help me. Andrew's not going to get my pills. I'm going to have to go get it myself. And being angry about that story, then no, Andrew would not have, I would not have manifested Andrew doing that. Right. So let me just clean that up. You know what? Everybody does everything for me. Everything's wonderful in my life. Everyone does things that makes me feel good. Remember, mental diet, thoughts count. Even if you don't mean them, even if you say something you don't mean, you've put it into the universe. Okay. So how do we create? Okay. This is how we create. If I say to you guys right now, don't think of a blue duck, you just thought of a blue duck, okay? You may have thought of a yellow duck, a purple duck. You may have had yellow gum boots on. He may have had orange feet. Either way, you thought of a duck, okay? So what happens is when you create and say any word, your subconscious mind will automatically make a picture of it for you, okay? So once you have that picture, that snapshot in your subconscious mind, that's got to reflect out into your 3D world, okay? So yes, you can manifest when you have strong negative emotions about, your job, okay? Your job, and you're just not happy there. Can you manifest, your relationship to be good? Absolutely, right? But if you have strong negative emotions about your relationship and about being rejected, you're going to need to break down that story. Okay. And, find where all the thoughts are. And it's usually not a lot of thoughts that are giving you that negative emotion. You can also say things like, I feel good about my relationship. I feel good about my job. I feel good about manifesting so-and-so. Whenever I think of so-and-so, I feel good. Whenever I think about them, they, or anytime they show up in my life, they do things that make me feel good. Right. So but mostly break down the story. Right. So for instance, let's go back to my example with the long lineup at the restaurant. Well, that upset me because I don't want to be in a long lineup. So of course, in that moment, I was angry. Now I'm angry about the potential of there being a lineup at that restaurant. Now, as soon as I say, no, I'm God of my reality. Everyone is me pushed out. My thoughts create. I intend that there's no lineup. I intend we get right in. So as soon as you shift to that, I don't feel angry anymore. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I'm getting in. It's okay. Okay. So do you see what I'm saying? As soon as you actually change that story, with that strong negative emotion, the thoughts that are giving you that strong negative emotion, then you are going to manifest. So you can get partial manifestations holding on to that, but you need to let go of that story that's creating that emotion. I intend that made sense. I really do. It was a really excellent question. I really absolutely love this question. It was so good. So yeah, guys, let's take a look here. Anyone else got any questions? Do you have any tips on how to build confidence in manifesting? Oh boy, I do. So what I like to do is I like to basically create a list of little things. Okay. So, whether it be Andrew bringing me home flowers, or, somebody wearing a certain color shirt, or, anything at all. Just little things that you have like zero resistance to, but are just, odd enough that you'll recognize them. And then what'll end up happening is you'll see them manifest, and as they manifest, you go, wow, okay, no, I'm in control of this here. Right. And especially when the manifestation shows up, and then you get that feeling right then, that feeling you get when something manifests, start intending in that moment as well for something that you have resistance to. The other way to build your belief, and this was back when I did coaching, and they were like, write out all your complaints. Okay. I was like, okay. So my top complaint was paying for parking. I lived in the city, didn't like paying for parking. So I'm like, they're like, okay, now take that complaint and stop complaining about it. Stop complaining to your friends about it and affirm the opposite. So I was like, okay, every time I think about the parking, I'm going to affirm that I always get free parking. And of course, at the moment, I was like, well, what are like the parking meters just going to like melt away, or the city is going to take them away? Like, I don't think so. Like, I thought this was truly impossible. But you know what? I blindly took the challenge. I said, okay, you know what do I have to lose? So I kept saying, I get free parking all the time. I get free parking. All of a sudden, I started noticing free parking spots. Like, I would go to park somewhere and the meter still had more than enough time and money on it for me to park there for free. And then sometimes I would notice that there was actually a free spot just around the corner from where I parked that was actually closer to where I was going. And then other times I'd go into a parkade and somebody would hand me their little parking stub that still had time on it. And then I even got a part-time job that paid for my parking everywhere I went. So, and then one time I was going to this networking event, and I was like, no, you know what? I'm like, there's going to be paid parking. It's a hotel. I know it. And I'm like, no, it's going to be free for us. I'm like, no, it's going to be paid parking. And I was just having an all out war in my head as I'm sitting in traffic driving to this place. And finally I get there and I land on, you know what? No, this is going to be free parking today. And so I get in the parkade. I park. I'm walking up to the meter. I'm taking out my wallet. I realized I forgot to remember what my license plate was. Walk back, memorize my license plate, really quickly, and then walked up and got to the meter. And all of a sudden there was like this piece of paper, like printer paper, handwritten on it saying, anybody coming for this event, your parking's free. Well, there we go. Okay. So I got free parking for that too, right? So this is how you build your confidence in it, is manifest in more than one area, and manifest little things that really aren't a huge deal to you. Or take the challenge, okay, and find something you complain about, change it to a positive intention, and just stay on it for 2 weeks. Like, actual put energy to it. It's important too that you do that, the taking the complaint and changing it into something positive, because it'll show you how much effort you need to put into something that you've had resistance to, right? So for me, it took about a week and a half. And I'm like, serious, no complaining to any of your friends, your family, your bestie, your manifestation buddy, nobody, no complaining about it. When you talk about it, you talk about, oh, I always get free parking. I intend to get free parking. Or you say nothing to anybody, right? And you just take that and keep, and then you'll see how long it takes you to have that breakthrough. Right. But, there's, I think it also brings me to, there's nothing wrong with talking about your situation where it is right now when you're, in a structured environment like coaching, because, like our coaches here, they'll help you like find your blocks from your story, give you intentions. So they'll clean up your story and then help you work to build that new story. Right. So, but when it's non-LOA people, I don't know if you guys know, but or experience this, sometimes they help you to complain more. So, just be consciously aware of who we share with, right? You can have the intention that everybody you share with helps you create, what you want in your life, right? So, yeah, oh, I'm glad you love these lives. That's awesome. Yeah. Since there are many people manifesting in the world, what is our reality in the physical 3D world, or is it just in our imagination? Well, so this is based in quantum physics, okay? Basically, it's your quantum bubble. Nobody can manifest in your reality but you, unless you give them power to manifest in your reality. Okay. So, you basically, like, for instance, that story with my going to lunch or with my mom, right? And having this big long lineup wait list, which made me upset. When she said it, I accepted it as a possibility. And as soon as I accepted it as a possibility, I was actually creating it, not her. Okay. So nobody can create in your reality. You create in your reality. It may look like other people manifest in your reality, but you give the power to them because you're actually manifesting it. So everything is just a projection of your subconscious mind. That's it. Everything is just a projection of your subconscious mind. None of this is real. And everyone is you pushed out, and you are a broadcasting tower. And what you broadcast out of your assumptions, your physical 3D reality has to comply to. Okay. They actually found evidence of this in quantum physics. There was an article, I think it's on our community page somewhere. I remember Andrew found it. I think it was a year or two ago, and we shared it on the YouTube community page. But anyway, it was a really interesting article that basically said we've proved that our thoughts create as humans, right? So everything is like non-existent until it collapses into whatever you expect it to collapse into. So yeah, none of this is real. And it's only your quantum bubble, and you create the people in it, okay? Everybody is playing a part in your play. They're all here for you, right? You've projected them there with your mind, right? Yeah, we also learned that in NLP, right? So how can I bridge the gap between no communication and communication? Well, you start living the person that gets the communication. So, what would your thoughts be if you had communication? Right? You would be like, oh, well, you know what? They're always messaging me. You also want to go through the story. Why do you have a story that they don't message you? So, like, for instance, I always write down, and this is actually in the free course, How to Find Your Blocks, explains this. Basically you write down all of your complaints of why you don't have any communication, and you change all of those into positive intentions. And then you start reading those 2-3 times a day and really putting them into your mental diet until they feel good. I can't say as much, like, you put power, put energy, where attention goes, energy flows. So when you want to create something, really put the energy to it, because you're painting the scene, right? You're painting the scene. What is your relationship going to look like? Put the little details in there. Be general. Put everything in there. Like, I remember when I was looking to manifest Andrew, I wanted someone that came over every night, watched TV with me, went out and took me out, and all these little things, and everything that I put out into the universe, that's what actually showed up in my relationship. Not to mention, he was exactly the list that I wrote. That's exactly what I wanted, a lawyer that was funny. And he always says to me, he's like, it's rare to find a lawyer that's funny. I'm like, well, I put it on a list, so it had to show up that way, right? So, remember, when you're manifesting something, like, my house, I manifested my house. And me and actually one of the coaches on the Create Your Future team, we actually went through and talked about what my house was going to look like, what the scene, like what outside the window, like, was in the surroundings, and everything, like what the house was going to look like, and how many bedrooms it was. And, and that's exactly, when I walked in here, I created such a mental picture of it. The minute I walked through that garage door, I went, this is my house. This is my house. And then when I toured this house, I was like up in the bedroom, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to wake up in this bedroom every morning. And then when I was in the bathroom, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, I'm going to have a shower in that shower every day. I'm going to wash my face in this sink. I'm going to blow dry my hair there. I'm going to have my Sunday night baths in that tub. And then when I walk down the stairs, I said, I'm going to walk down the stairs every morning and smell coffee, Andrew's coffee. And, and I was in the kitchen, and I'm like, yeah, I can see myself cooking, and I was opening, and I went open the fridge a few times. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep opening the fridge, see if any food appears. You know how that is, and you're hungry, but you don't know what you want. So you keep going to the fridge, opening it to see if something actually magically appears that wasn't there 5 minutes ago. So, my point is too, is, not only put all this detail and energy into creating the mental image of what you want, go see that house, go test drive that car, go see how it feels to have it. right? Because when you feel like, okay, when you go to that dealership and you get in that Lamborghini and you say, yeah, this is my car, I'm going to have a Lamborghini. Like, you're creating it in that moment, right? And you know what? And you're like, I'm going to drive this every day to work. I'm going to, do this. I'm going to do that, or whatever. If it's an RV, you know what? I'm going to go on these family vacations, so, put it out there, and start adding, all the details and general things into, your manifestation. Like, I always go with, what's it going to look like? Like, what's your manifestation going to look like? Who, what, where, when, right? And the more that you can create details, I find the stronger it makes it, right? And doing the general as well. But yeah, how to bridge the gap between communication. That was the original question, wasn't it? So yeah, do the list of why you guys aren't in communication right now, and change that to all the positives. And then also add things in there, like we always talk. One time I intended Andrew would call me for no reason, and he called me. I was like, hey. And then I was like, what's up? And he's like, oh, nothing. I'm like, oh, why'd you call? He's like, oh, no reason. I was like, okay. Like, it was so weird, and it happened. Of course, my belief in that moment, I was like, oh my God, this guy does not stand a chance. He is so me pushed out, right? So, keep doing those other things, because I think a big part of this is having the belief that your thoughts create. Okay. Like, you're always doing it anyway, right? But believing in yourself, I find sometimes with law of assumption and law of attraction, we sort of think we get too smart for ourselves, right? And, we start questioning if this is even real and if this even works. But the funny thing was, before you even knew it was law of assumption or law of attraction, you were already creating anyway with your thoughts. But because you didn't know about law of attraction or law of assumption, you didn't question whether it worked or not, right? So sometimes when we know this knowledge consciously, we start to trip ourselves up because we're just way too smart for ourselves and start questioning if this even works, but think back before you knew this. You were creating everything in your life. You were. And the one thing you didn't have was any questioning of whether or not it was true or not, right? So yeah. Yeah, you guys. Oh, I'm glad the videos have helped. That is amazing. I absolutely love that. Yeah. You guys are absolutely amazing. Hello. Yeah. Will this live be saved? Absolutely. It'll be in our list. So yeah, you guys are all amazing. Thank you so much for being here. You know, I really love it, being able to, provide the information. It's like one of those things, I learned it and I'm like, everybody needs to know this. I'm like, I want to help everybody. We can all have everything that we want. There's abundance. We're limitless. And I love talking about it because, again, it brings me like back to, hey, you know what? Smarten up your thoughts. Get on your thoughts, right? I even create intentions like, I always stick to my mental diet, things like that as well. Yeah. What are some good intentions for making money? You know what? Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. You can also, like, it depends. You have a business, and money flows to you through the business. I know, coaches on our channel, Ani, she intends jackpot wins. I know another coach, she does scratch and wins, and she wins absurd amounts on scratch and wins. Me, I'm like, I never win. It was funny. So I was actually, and here's the funny, thoughts stay in play for a long time. So I used to do like quarter bingo. Like, it was, I don't know, you bet quarters, and it was card bingo. And so every week I was playing and I was betting, but I was never winning. And I couldn't figure out why I would never win, knowing, the law of assumption. I'm like, well, every day I would be like, you know what? I intend to win. But nothing ever happened. And then one day I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? I want to know, I wonder why I'm not winning. Like, what story do I need to change? And then all of a sudden, one of the guys that we play bingo with at my table, he says, well, he's like, I don't actually gamble much because it cuts into my drinking money. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that's it. I was like, and then since I don't gamble, I don't win at gambling. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So I remembered saying that. So I was like, no, you know what? I have more than the gambling never. So what I was saying was that gambling cuts into my drinking money. Like I said this when I was in my like 20s, that gambling cut into my drinking money. So basically that the gambling I could never win at gambling because it had to cut into my drinking money. You know what I mean? My fun money. Right. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I changed that immediately. And I said, no, you know what? 100%, I can gamble as much as I want, and I always win more than enough, to pay for whatever I want. And I started saying that, and I started for a day, and then we went to bingo the next week, and then all of a sudden, boom, I won the first hand. I won 11 whole dollars. It only cost me like 50 cents. So that was pretty exciting. So my point is, right, to manifest, money, it's like, what's your story, right? Where's this money going to come from? You know what I mean? So are you going to manifest a raise through your job? Do you might want to change your story there. Are you going to manifest money through the lottery? I mean, where are you manifesting the money through? You can say, look, I don't care, I just manifest money from all different areas constantly. That's great and all, but I mean, you might want to put a little bit of detail. Like, I mean, obviously I manifest money, through my business, investments, this sort of thing, right? But yeah. So can I just read my affirmations to manifest? If I read my affirmations again and again, will it manifest? Well, yes, but you also need to do a mental diet. Okay. So if you find that you're not getting movement and things aren't actually manifesting, you're probably not catching your thoughts. Okay. So a mental diet is very much like this. This is what a mental diet looks like. Oh, I wonder, is Jerry going to be late picking me up today? No, Jerry's going to be on time. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I want to be in a relationship. So you got to find your goal to figure out what your mental diet's going to be, right? So it's going to, okay, my goal is to be in a relationship with Jerry. And I think, oh, you know what? I'm like, I don't know if Jerry likes me. It's like, no, I know Jerry likes me and he wants to be with me. Oh, but you know what? He didn't call me back yet. I wonder, he's probably doesn't really, he's not that interested. No, he's interested. He's going to call me back immediately. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you've got to mitigate your negative thoughts as they come up, because just reading a list of affirmations, those may not be covering some of the negative thoughts that you've been having throughout the day, which, you know what, it's totally fine to have negative thoughts, right? It's just, are you catching them and changing them, right? Is really what it comes down to. Yeah. You guys are amazing. Thank you, manifesting scientist. Subliminals. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're wavering in your mental diet, 100%. That's it. I don't do any technique. I just do mental diet because, I mean, sure, I do write. Like I've got our mental diet journals, and they're nice. They feel nice, but I like writing, right? These are available too, actually, link in the description. I like writing. So I use them once in a while when I feel like writing, but generally throughout the day, I just watch my thoughts, and I'm careful of what I agree to too. I mean, if somebody says something and I think to myself, do I really want to create that? And if the answer is no, then I'll change it on the spot. Like I was going to a meeting yesterday, and my mom was like, oh, well, you know what? The guy's probably going to be like mean like usual. And I was like, thought to myself, do I really want to create that? And it was like, no, I don't actually. That sounds horrible. So I didn't agree with her. I said, no, I'm like, he's going to be great today. He's going to be nice. Right. So watch what you agree to too with other people, because, once you accept what they put out there, then you're actually going to create it, or possibly create and manifest it. Right. So, well, when you stick to a mental diet, how long does it take results to see in the 3D? Well, like, I mean, me, it doesn't take long, but you have to keep doing the mental diet if you want to keep it, right? So let's put it this way. Like, I created a mental diet that Andrew loves me, wants to be with me. And basically I have to keep that train of thought for him to still want to be with me, because as soon as I change my mind and say, oh, he doesn't, then he doesn't, but he does, he wants to be with me. Right. So, it's not, there is no, this moment we get to stop, but how long it takes just really depends on how long you intend it to take. I mean, you're the creator of your reality. It can happen instantly and it can take a while. It's completely up to you. So you start saying right now, when I do a mental diet, I shift things immediately, and then you'll shift them immediately. Right. So there is nobody out there or nothing out there that's like, controlling any of this. It's all you. It's all in here, right? Yeah. How to overcome other people's thoughts and what they say. Well, I mean, if I'm having a conversation, I'm more than happy to disagree with somebody. Like if I don't want to create it, right? But if you've got someone like that's negative in your life or always complaining, I mean, you can change that assumption to go, oh, everything they say always makes me feel good. You know what I mean? So that would be an option as well, right? So yeah. Oh, thanks. You've been listening for over 4 years, and the videos are really helpful. That's absolutely amazing. So, yeah, seems my negative thoughts come up. I reaffirm, but what about dominant thoughts? Well, with dominant thoughts, like you really I try to shift my belief, right? So, and I basically put all my beliefs up to this. Okay, so my main belief, okay, which I've built, and I would suggest you guys doing the same, is that everyone's me pushed out, my thoughts create. I could be, do, and have anything that I want. Okay. So, it's easy for me to let go and change a belief, right? A dominant thought, because it's like, when I look at it, I'm like, oh, well, that was my thought anyway. So, I'm going to change it. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe there's a belief over the years you got that people don't change. Well, I look at that and I'm like, well, that sounds like it sucks, but you know what? I created that, so I'm going to change it. People can change. Okay. So, you want to take a look when you have dominant thoughts of maybe where the belief is coming from, right? Or, you just start saying, you know what? All my dominant thoughts are positive. It's easy to stay on a mental diet, right? Yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. And robotically affirming, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. I mean, everything is just a technique. As long as you're focusing on what you want, there's no wrong way to do this. But you do need to do a mental diet. Let me tell you, there's no way around that. It's so funny. When I first learned that everybody was like overhearing my thoughts, I was like, oh my God. And then I needed to watch my thoughts. I was like, oh God, no, anything but my thoughts. Anything but my thoughts. Why do I need to watch my thoughts? But we do, I mean, it's so, I mean, if you don't care what you manifest, then you don't need to watch your thoughts. But, if you are trying to manifest something, then, it's time to watch your thoughts, right? So what happens if you're homeless and you have no money? Guess what? Been there, done that. Been there, done that, believe it or not. You just start intending. You can intend that, there's going to be some service that's going to help you, some program that's going to help you, that, you're going to find a job, you're going to get, a place to live. You're going to move in with somebody. I mean, there is so many things that you can do. Just start looking at all the possibilities. Just sit down and write all the possibilities that could happen, if for what you want, right? Is it normal to get a headache in the first few days of a mental diet? I mean, I've never, well, you know what? I get like static where it's like, but I mean, I wouldn't say, I would say maybe, check with the doctor, if you're getting headaches. I wouldn't, you can also say that I never get any physical symptoms when I do a mental diet. I personally haven't heard it, but you can create anything in your reality. So you can manifest having a headache the first few days of a mental diet. That's completely up to you. So maybe change that story to, I always feel good physically when I do a mental diet, right? But I don't want to like, say don't go see a doctor, like, if anything medical, definitely. Is this being recorded? Absolutely is. Yeah, it'll be available. So yeah, you can manifest physical healing quickly. You can manifest anything you want. I mean, this is all for you guys. It's your reality. Everything that you're consciously aware of in here is going to show up in your 3D reality as well as yourself, right? So, and even things are, your mirror of your assumptions. I moved in here 3 years ago, And I always thought this fridge was a lemon. Well, funny thing is, it's getting replaced under warranty tomorrow, because you know what? My assumptions of this fridge being a lemon manifested just fine. So, we got to watch what we're thinking, and I manifested a free fridge. So that's pretty cool. But we got to watch what our assumptions are about, people, things, and even our bodies. Right. So, I'm always in perfect health, and that'll show up as well. Awesome. Well, you guys are amazing. I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, if you have any more questions, you guys can put them in the Patreon. I'll put the link here in the YouTube chat for you guys. And in the TikTok, the link is in the bio. Same with the free course. The free course is links in bio. Remember, you guys get the free course. You have to sign up for our mailing list. But if you don't want to be on the mailing list, just unsubscribe from it. No big deal. Just make sure you get the free course. Okay, that's the most important thing. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.